Hi guys, I'm glad to see you again. Are you ready to get started? Today's a special day, so we've got some good stuff to talk about. Let's get our day started. Here we go. It's time to start our day. It's time to start our day. It's time to give a great big cheer and then be on our way. Hooray! All right, there's even more reason to cheer today. We're going to be happy, extra happy today, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But first we have to do our Pledge of Allegiance. So stand up tall for me. Hand goes on that heart. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, guys. Go ahead and sit down for me. Next, we're going to look at our calendar. And I don't know if you've talked to your grown-up about the fact that today is a special day. Let's count to our number, and then we're going to talk about what today is. Our number is right here. It's a 2 and a 2. It's a number in the 20s. It's 20. What number do you think it is? It's not 20. Let's see, 20. Let's count and see if we can figure it out. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Did you know that today is April 22 and it is a Wednesday? It's going to be Wednesday all day long. Wednesday, April 22. But do you know what's extra special about Wednesday, April 22? It's Earth Day. Today is a great day to celebrate all of the really cool things about the earth. And it's a day for us to think about ways we can help take care of the earth. The earth helps to give us food. We've been talking about farmers, right? And they help to make sure we have lots of food. But without the earth, we wouldn't have animals or plants or water or a home. So it's a really great day to remember all of the great things we have because we live on earth. So let's talk about some things we can do to be good helpers on the planet Earth. Have you seen this sign before? It's a great sign that a lot of times when we see that, we think of the word recycling. But look there, how many arrows are there? 1, 2, and 3 arrows. I want to talk about what each of those arrows mean. The first one is reduce. Reduce. Now that's kind of a tricky word. Can you say that word with me? Reduce. To reduce something means to make it smaller. So if I'm getting ready to throw away some of my trash, I want to see if I can make it as small as possible because that trash has to go somewhere, right? Yeah, we have landfills that we use to put all our trash in. But the best thing I can do is to make my trash as small as I can so it doesn't take up too much space in a landfill. So maybe you finish drinking your milk in the morning and you can help your grown-up squish it down. Or maybe when you're done with a box, you can help your grown-up fold it smaller so it doesn't take up as much space. So reduce is the first arrow. The second one is reuse. Reuse. That means to use something again. So maybe you go to the store and your grown-up gets a bottle of water because you guys are thirsty, right? Well, that's a great thing to do, but do you know what you can do with that bottle of water? Fill it up and use it again. Let's say that I buy a bottle of water on one day and I can use it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can use it as many days as I want. So let's say I use it for 5 days. I'm only using that same one bottle of water. Or I go and I buy a new bottle on one day and I buy a new bottle the next day and the next and the next and the next. Well, over here, I got to drink bottled water for 5 days and I only used how many? 1. Or I buy a new bottle every day and I have 5 bottles. And then when I do throw them away, there are 5 that have to go in that landfill instead of just 1. So reusing things every time you can is a great way to take care of the earth. Another thing that we love to do is to recycle. When we recycle something, it means we turn it into something new. So maybe in your home, maybe you separate paper from your garbage, or maybe you hold out soda cans or plastic bottles. Those are all things that we can recycle. We take them to a company that breaks them down and makes them into something new. You know, recycled materials can make new construction paper that we can use in our classroom, or new sneakers you might be wearing. Recycle means it doesn't go in the landfill. Instead, it's used all over again as something new. Talk to your grown up to see if there's something you can recycle in your home. Some areas, recycling is really great and easy to do, and sometimes it's kind of hard to do. So it's something to talk to your grown up about. Can we recycle? Is that something we can do? And even if not, maybe you can find a way to reduce or reuse items. And the earth will be so glad that you did that. So, how are some other ways that we can be a good helper to the earth? Well, I've got some words up here I want you to talk to your grown up about. You can try to turn off the water. Now, it's really, really important that when we're washing our hands, we're doing a really good job, right? And you might even sing our song, top and bottom, in between, in between. Rub them both together, nice and clean, nice and clean. But when I'm rubbing the soap into my hands, I don't have to keep the water on the whole time for that. I need the water at the start to get them wet and get me soapy bubbles, and I need the water at the end to rinse them off. But when I'm rubbing that soap in, I don't have to have water for that. It's the same thing when you're brushing your teeth. You need water to get your toothbrush wet, and you need water at the end to rinse out your mouth and to get your toothbrush clean. But while you're busy brushing those teeth so well, you could turn your water off. Maybe you and your family could take a walk the next time you need to go somewhere, or ride your bike instead of getting in the car. When we get in the car, our cars put out some things into the air. Everybody's car does it, and we need cars to get around. But maybe if we do it a little bit less, the planet Earth will be glad. What do you think? I think so. Have you ever been walking in your yard or down the street or on a sidewalk and you see a piece of garbage that somebody littered? Oh man, that's a bummer. Littering is no good for the earth. Animals could find that litter and accidentally eat it, and it could make them sick. If you see litter, ask your grown up if it's okay to throw it away. There are some pieces of litter your grown up may not want you to touch. Maybe your grown up can help you clean it up instead. But when you see litter, ask your grown up, can I clean this up? And maybe they can help you find a trash can for it. Like I said, talk to your grown ups about recycling. Maybe that's something you can do in your house. One of my favorite ways to be a good helper to the earth is by helping take care of plants and trees. We're going to talk a little bit more about plants over the next couple of days and weeks. But you know, plants really need some water and sunlight. So check around your yard or even in your house. Do you have any plants that need some water or some sunlight? Ask your grown up to help you get them some water. That's a really good thing because plants need water so they can grow and be strong. Oh my goodness, look at all of these pictures. These are some really great pictures that show us different things about Earth Day. So right here, I've got a picture of our planet Earth. Here is a tree, and trees are super important to our planet because they give us the air that we can breathe. And this is a picture of a recycling bin where we can separate out our trash from things that can be reused again or recycled. We're going to count some of these things. So I hope you're feeling super smart today. We're going to start by counting how many Earths do you see? Are you ready to count with me? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Comes after 4. Tell me. 5. Do you see 5 Earths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5 Earths. For real, there's actually only one Earth. There's only one Earth, and we get to live on it. How cool is that? Our Earth is the perfect place for people and animals to live. There's only one of them, but on my picture, I put up 5, didn't I? Good job. All right, next, we're going to count how many trees you see. Take a look before I start counting and see if you can figure out How many trees are there? Did you count them? Are you ready to count with me? Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trees. That's great. I love trees. Wonder how many trees you have around your home. Maybe you've got a bunch of trees in the park nearby. Maybe you even have a tree in your backyard. How many trees can you see today? All right, now there's more of these next ones. These are the recycling bins. This is where we can put those things that can be recycled and made into something new. I see quite a few of these. We better work together to count. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 recycling bins. Good counting. You guys are awesome at this. I love how well you're counting. If you want an extra challenge, you can ask your grown-up to pause the video real quick and count how many things are there all together. If you counted all of the earths and all of the trees and all of the recycling bins, just how many do you think you would have? All right, I'm going to go on and read our story today. Today's book is called The Lorax. Oh, it's my favorite book on Earth Day because it tells a great story about what happens if maybe we don't take good care of the earth and maybe something we can do to help fix it. This is The Lorax. It's a Dr. Seuss book, and Dr. Seuss loves words that rhyme. So listen with your ears for those rhyming words. Here we go. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dark midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin nail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snoove, his secret strange hole in his grovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whispermaphone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slop! Down slops the whispermaphone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he said, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Be quiet, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. And oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruits to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds as I biggered my money, which everyone needs. And again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed, he sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough, they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup, also schloppity schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumming the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my right, sir, and I'm telling you I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time at all, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was the big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. Boy, doesn't that picture look different from the picture in the beginning with all of those colors? The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Boy, I like that story a lot. That silly Onceler, he got so busy cutting down the trees that he didn't pay attention to how the animals needed things. They couldn't eat the truffula fruits anymore, and their water got dirty, and the fish couldn't live there, and the birds had to leave too, didn't they? But at the very end of the book, he says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Do you know what that means? That means that you can do some things to make things better in our world, in our neighborhoods, out at your very own home. Maybe you can help by remembering those three words: reduce, make your garbage smaller, reuse, so you're not buying so many extra things, and recycle. Talk to your grown-ups about whether that's something you can do so that old things can be made new again. And today, since it's Earth Day, I want you to pay extra attention outside to a way you can help a plant or a tree. Maybe you have some seeds to start a garden, or maybe you can take a cup with water and help take care of some of the trees in your own area. There's one other project I wanted to show you that I thought looked really cool. This is a bird feeder that you can make at home. It starts with an empty roll of toilet paper, just an empty old tube. And you know what you can use? You can use either honey or peanut butter. You take a little spoon and you smear some honey or you smear some peanut butter on there, and then you roll it around in birdseed. Now, this one on the screen here, they added some toothpicks to it so the birds could have a place to sit while they ate. And then they tied a string to it. You could hang it up in one of those trees you're taking care of, and you can watch the birds, maybe even some squirrels, come and enjoy the food that you put out for them. I think that sounds like a really fun project. It might be worth checking in with your grown up. Hey, can we make something to help the birds today? I hope that you have a great Earth Day and find some really cool stuff that you can do, because I know you can do great things to help take care of the Earth. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.